Friends, on Wednesdays, we have kind of a Zen's Day practice where we have been reading from a couple of Zen masters. Most recently, we finished a very long exploration, a 2.5 year practice studying the book written by Roshi Joan Halifax called Standing at the Edge. And we have now started a brand new book. It is a compilation of the inspiring teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, and it's a book titled Go Slowly, Breathe, and Smile. And these are all these beautiful artistic pieces by Rashi Ray, and she has sort of made some artwork around Thich Nhat Hanh saying. I want to show you the very first one so you can appreciate what we're doing. So there you have the first art piece. And Thich Nhat Hanh saying on the first one we've been studying is mindfulness is the base of happiness. Mindfulness is the base of happiness. So that's what we have been playing with for the last couple of weeks, and today we're going to explore the third practice today. And what I'd like to do is, what I'm going to do for you today is read his saying and a little explanation about it. And I'm also going to share with you a little something from a Sangha member that I found recently as I was going through various things in my home. I'm kind of doing some spring cleaning, and this was in a book that I found. And I'd actually like to begin our practice with this today. And I'd like to use it as an intention, a setting of the intention. It's a piece of artwork by our wonderful Sangha member Michelle in Florida. And Michelle sent me this beautiful poem that was shared with her by another Sangha member. And I'd like to take a moment to establish this as the foundation of our intention for our practice today. This is a poem from the She book by Tanya Markle. May you find the courage to trust, love, and accept yourself and shout yes to the burn of transformation. This is where you enter. This is where you stop resisting. This is where you shout out of the cracks you've fallen into. This is where the waiting ends and the new you is born. There is no going back. May you lean in. Much love, Michelle. I just love that. And it's the perfect poem to wrap us in and settle in for this beautiful teaching of Thich Nhat Hanh. So let's go ahead and invite the chime to sing. And maybe before we really settle into the practice, let's take a moment and enact leaning in. And don't be too linear in this. Most of us think of leaning in as going forward, and maybe that's true, but maybe leaning to the side might be something interesting. So allow your body to sway in sort of a leaning kind of way for just a moment. Lean forward. Lean back. Lean to the side. Close your eyes. Nobody's watching. Hello, Boone. Yeah, those are my glasses. You're very handsome. just lean in. The saying that Thich Nhat Hanh wrote is actually the first element of the Noble Eightfold Path, wise understanding. Thich Nhat Hanh writes, understanding is the fruit of looking deeply. Understanding is the fruit of looking deeply. It's so fascinating to me because understanding is both an action. To look deeply with the spirit of understanding is this action, and then what we get from that is understanding. The questions that Thich Nhat Hanh asks to accompany wise understanding is one of the limitless qualities that we all try to cultivate called mudita, joy. And he says, ask yourself, what nourishes joy in me? What nourishes joy in others? And those two questions are separate and distinct, and yet they inter-are. Because sometimes the joy we cannot access for ourselves, we can see in another. We can nourish in another. And then when we can tap into the wise understanding of just like me, we can gain access to joy within ourselves. So, for instance, when we're spending time with our furry companions and we're giving 5-star belly rubs, and they are obviously enjoying it. And maybe we're in a super Grumpelstiltskin mood, and yet we find it within ourselves. We lean into our companions' demands and we give them those belly rubs. We see their joy. We recognize that we are being nurturing and caring. And then suddenly something activates, some inner wisdom allows us to lean in a little bit more, look a little bit deeper, and realize, oh, in this process of bringing my pet, my companion, some joy, I'm actually enjoying myself too. It feels good to pet my dog. Their joy is my joy. Just like me, my pet enjoys this and likes tender touch and affection. Understanding is the fruit of looking deeply. In this first line of this poem, may you find the courage to trust. Last night in our meditation, Marty took us to a zoo and he brought forward all kinds of qualities. Courage and trust were two of them. And he asked us to imagine zoo animals associated with those particular qualities. And it was really fascinating to play with that. Who has courage? Who has trust? For me, courage was in newly hatched sea turtles frantically paddling to get to the sea, instinctively knowing that that's where they live and traversing that distance of shore, risking their lives, knowing that seagulls are flying around waiting, and they scurry along the sand, getting to the shore, to the sea. And even then, the courage that they have to swim, to survive. Trust for me was a koala. And a little baby koala being held by its mom. May you have the courage to trust. May you have the courage to love. May you have the courage to accept yourself. Looking deeply is an invitation for each of us to explore all the ways that we find ease with these qualities, trusting ourselves, loving ourselves, accepting ourselves, and looking at all the ways that we inhibit those qualities, all the ways we've acted in untrustworthy ways, in unloving ways, and in unacceptable ways, not as an invitation to beat ourselves up and punish ourselves, but to simply recognize, wow, I have the capacity for both. And understanding this means that I can nurture the quality that I want to bring more of in the world. But I can't do that if I don't have understanding. And I can't have understanding if I don't look deeply. This is where we enter. This is where we can stop resisting. We're not one or the other. We're not all trusting and all trustworthy and all untrusting and untrustworthy. We're both. We're always some combination of loving and unloving, judgmental and not judgmental, accepting and unaccepting, tolerant and intolerant, patient, impatient. Understanding the nature of that duality is the threshold of putting down resistance. When we put down the resistance, joy emerges. So let's take a few minutes and quietly reflect how all that landed for you. Understanding is the fruit of looking deeply. Lean in. Would you look at all that? See if you can smile with some joy. Here. Alrighty, friends, let's go ahead and read this one. This is number 44 in this beautiful book of Moments of Mindfulness. We should live our daily lives seeing everything in the light of interbeing. Then we will not be caught in our small selves. We will see our joy and our suffering everywhere. Friends, whether you find yourself in the middle of the swamp, whether you see yourself on the shore of dry land, may your practice bring your gaze to the small wonders waiting for your attention. May this soften the mind, open the heart, and infuse you with the wisdom of your own citta. There may you find your trust, your love, your acceptance, as well as the strength to keep going. Thank you so much for your beautiful practice, friends. We'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.